Right, welcome back to the channel. We have got that cylinder out of that job with the split coil. You know, the one where we worked out that there was a split coil in the cylinder and it was back feeding into the heating system. And I said to you, when I get that cylinder out, we're going to cut it open and find out just how bad the coil was. Well, here it is. This is it, coil here. What we're going to do is cut the side of this cylinder apart, get that coil out, and see exactly what the issue was. And also, I'm going to talk to you about what has happened in the unit, because we've got a little bit of a new backdrop. So keep watching, give this video a thumbs up, get subscribed, because we're going to cut this cylinder open and find out how bad the split in the coil really was. Right then, something has been going on at the unit. Let me quickly, before we get into this, before we get cutting this cylinder open, as you can see, we've got a black background with an amazing Real World Plumbing sign. Now, I'm going to quickly show you what happened when Gaz from Quality Brushstrokes, if you don't follow him on social media, drop onto Instagram, give Quality Brushstrokes a follow, because Gaz is a top guy. He came out, got that made for me for a start off, and came down, painted all this out, and we got that on the wall. So quickly check this out, and then we'll get to cutting this cylinder open and finding the split coil. So then we're back up the unit. Haven't been up the unit on this channel for a long time. Well, I say for a long time, for a good little bit of time, because I've been that busy. We're doing the bathrooms, doing a wet room. We've got a load of stuff. We're going into winter heating season. I've had 2 call outs for pumps down, 3 or 4 call outs for zone valves not working. You know what it's like. If you're a plumber watching this, you will know silly season is upon us. However, over time, when did I get this unit? 6 months ago, and we've slowly been doing little bits. And I always said this far end here, where I've got all the wood and that on the wall and my BMX and whatnot, I was thinking of doing like a filming area for bag reviews and tool reviews. And, you know, like I do my van chat, maybe just a little bit of a chat here, and possibly lives. I have done by accident a YouTube live. So that's going to be a thing. I'm going to start doing more YouTube lives, because the other week, if you watched it, you'll know, I sort of clicked on my phone to get a feel of how the YouTube lives work, because I'd never done one. I thought, right, I'll go on for a couple of minutes, see what's what, see how it works. Ended up being 45 minutes on there, because as soon as I went live, a few of you were dropping into the comments, all right, Mark, good to see you doing a live. And mate, we just went off on a bit of a tangent. So started discussing loads of different things. So I quite enjoyed the live. So I'm going to be doing more of them. And the plan was to put a little bit of a sort of a studio filming area down there. However, things changed a little bit. And this side of the unit, behind the camera at the minute, if I can find a picture, I'll put it in, where it's just a brick wall. And the reason I say that is because Gaz, Quality Brushstrokes, has come down and he is painting this back wall. We're having it completely black, and then I'm going to come around here over time and do that black. So it's basically just going to be a black wall. You're thinking, well, black wall's going to be no good, is it? Just black? Oh no. We've got that Real World Plumbing sign going up now. It is massive. We've sort of worked out, haven't we, Gaz, where it's going to go. Oh yes. And we're going to sort of put it there. I think the top we're going to have very slightly on the top here, and then it's going to come down and it's going to look mint. So at times I'll have my car parked here, but then I can move that out of the way, put a table there for filming and all that sort of stuff. So that is going to look proper sick when it's done. So I'm going to put a little bit of a time lapse on while Gaz is doing that, and then show you the end product when it's done. And that is hanging up on the wall. There you go, you've just seen the time lapse of it going up, and it looks incredible. It's just here. I love it so much. So a massive shout out to Gaz. Gaz is here. Big shout out to Gaz for coming down and doing this, mate. Honestly, it's something that when I put out and I wanted it on that wall, and then you reached out to me and was like, mate, I'll come down and do that for you. So Yeah, check this out.
Friends and the family we choose. It's not about numbers, it's just doing things or being in a position where you can help other people selflessly. Yeah. And that's what it's about. That's what this community needs.
100%. You know, Gaz sort of reached out to me and went, oh, I want to come down and do that for you. And then I didn't know he was doing the sign. And then he sent me a couple of little snippets. If I can find them on my phone, I'll put them into this video and show you the little teasers that Gaz gave me before coming down and doing this. But you've seen the time lapse. Check that out. Look at that. Massive real world plumbing sign in the middle of the black wall is what I wanted. Originally we was going to go that end, switched it to this end. That looks wicked. I mean, it's properly black, that wall. Once it's dried, it'll be sound. Pops out with a real world plumbing. And then what I'm going to do over time is work my way down here, getting all of this black, and I'm going to be making some content from this end of the unit. So be it bag reviews, tool reviews, let me know what you want to see. Also little chats as well. And you never know, I might even get a little chair here, little chair there, little microphone, and we might be doing some lives, YouTube lives from here at the end of the unit.
Little chair for little Gaz.
Little Gaz will be on the chair, on that. But no, massive, big shout out to Gaz for doing it. If you don't follow him on Instagram, go over and follow Gaz on Quality Brushstrokes. I'll put all the links in the description. But yeah, things like this, what people do for other people, just makes what we do, making social media content, and it's, you know, that's the result from it. So keep an eye out, plenty of content coming from down in the corner very soon. And there we go. He got the sign on and Gaz got the wall painted. And then since then, I have done this wall here. And what I am going to do is do the ceiling as well. I'm going to insulate the ceiling, board it and paint that black. So that whole area, I step back down the unit, so that whole area is going to be for filming, but I just want to cover that top bit up. Anyway, this cylinder. So if you haven't seen the video, I'll pop a link up here, go and check it out, because we got called out to flush a system through, but what we worked out was it was backfilling through the hot water, because this cylinder is a pressurized cylinder. Now, what was happening was, because the water was filling into the cylinder at mains pressure, and obviously opening your hot tap comes out as mains pressure with the cylinder like that. But because there was what we think is a pinhole or a split in the coil, the pressure in the cylinder was pushing back into the heating system and causing the heating system to be filled up and over pressurized. So when we tried to dump the water out of the heating system and drain it down, it just kept rising, just kept filling up, as you'll have seen if you watched that previous video. So what I said, and what loads of people said, was when you get that cylinder out, are you going to cut it up and show us exactly what the split in the coil is like? And I thought, yeah, I will do. So that job is now done. There's a massive, I don't know how to explain it really, but that job, changing that cylinder out, we had to alter the pipe work. Then there was an issue with the boiler. Then a big issue at the end that will become apparent. When I've put that video together, I'm still trying to get over it. It was last week. It was the week from hell. Trust me, when I put the video together, you'll see exactly just how bad that job ended up being. But anyway, the cylinder's out. So let's get the angle grinder, goggles. I'll see if I can find some gloves because it's a little bit nippy in here. And let's start cutting this cylinder apart and get the coil out and just see exactly what's happened. Right then, we've got our angle grinder and goggles ready to go. I'm just looking the best way to cut it out. Obviously the coil's here. So what I think I'm going to do is just cut a huge square out the front there, which will expose the front of it, and then there'll be the stainless steel cylinder inside. So first off, let's get that cut out and a bit of access on the cylinder. So we stripped the front now off this cylinder, and as you can see, it's not in the best condition. To be fair, when I've got this insulation off, there's loads of water and damp in here, so I think there would have been bits leaking on it anyway, things like that. I think these two are the sacrificial anodes. I'm going to see, what I'm going to do is try and cut it all out in one section if I can. So I'm going to cut down there, across the bottom, across there, and see if we can take that all out in situ sort of thing and have a look at it from inside of the cylinder, if that makes sense. So let's get this next section cut out and see what it looks like. Right then, I think I've cut out enough now around the outside to get it out. Let's have a little bit of a shove around of it and see what happens. Right then, I've cut a little bit more across the bottom there. Let's see if this will now lift out in place so we can have a proper look. Nearly. Oh, here we go. Just got there connected. These little rods are connected. So let's cut these little rods out of the way, if I can. Right then, we're apart. Right then, that is the coil out the cylinder. Let's get this moved out of the way and have a proper look and see if we can find where the issue was. Right then, we've now got the whole coil cut out of inside that pressurised cylinder there. Now, let me just quickly walk you through it. So we had, from memory, that's the cold feed. That was the hot coming out of it. No, tell a lie. That was the cold feed. Yep, because if you look there, that's the feed going to the bottom of the tank. I'll spin it around in a minute and show you. Cold feed, hot, and then they're your sacrificial anodes. We'll have a look at those in a minute. And then you've got your coil there, and obviously your immersion heater there. But if we spin it round, let me pop the camera up here, and let me spin it round. Some light on it. Right, this is obviously the coil that was inside of it, and as I said, there was that cold feed at the bottom. That's the cold pipe that comes in the bottom and puts your cold water into the bottom of the cylinder, and then that is the hot outlet. Here's your coil. Coil comes in at the bottom, round and out the top, or vice versa, depending on which way it's piped up. So the water inside here is all from your heating system. So the water inside there, straight out your boiler, it's going off to do your central heating, and then when your zone valve opens, it comes into your coil here, goes around inside the cylinder, heats the water up in the cylinder. Now, the issue we was having was that there was a split in the cylinder, so the pressurised water inside that system was pushing itself, forcing itself back into the coil and back into the heating system. Now, when we went and looked at it, I thought there's going to be a big split in this cylinder. Sometimes you get a little pinhole, but this is going to be a big split, and instantly, straight away, you can see where it is. So that's the coil, and there is the huge hole in the top of the heating coil. So obviously the pressure on the outside is just pushing straight back in there and filling the heating system up. But you've got your immersion heater here. Obviously that's your feed, I was just saying. And then you've got two sacrificial anodes, they call them. This one here and this one at the top. Now, they are to just attract stuff like limescale and stuff like that that's inside the cylinder, and hopefully it'll go onto there, and then at various times you're meant to take them out and replace them. I don't think well, clearly on this system no one ever has, but I don't think many people have ever done it. I've never done it, to be honest. But it's just interesting to see what a cylinder looks like when it's been taken out of the cylinder itself. Now, I'm going to send that back to the customer and just show him, not that it weren't up for debate anyway, but it's just interesting to see what an actual coil inside a cylinder looks like. But I'm just glad that we can prove 100%, not that it was ever in doubt the way it was backfilling on itself, but that just proves that there was not only a little split, but a huge hole inside this coil. So if you found this interesting, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let me send a picture of that to the customer now. But there you go. I just thought it might be quite an interesting video, cutting that cylinder open and showing you exactly, A, what is inside a pressurised hot water cylinder, but B, just proving that it wasn't even a little split, it was a big hole inside that coil. So if you have, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to be subscribed to the channel, and you won't miss videos like this, and you won't miss the video where I show you what happened on this job when we switched this cylinder out for the new one, because it doesn't just end there. It's like a domino effect. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Right, I'll catch you soon.